Alright, back again for the next video. I'll be reading The Rise of Nine by Pittacus Lore, starting on chapter 10. And it's really good. Hope you like it. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much. I love you. If you're not, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get more videos. Hit the thumbs up if you like this video and leave me a comment. Alright? Thanks. Without further ado, The Rise of Nine by Pittacus Lore, Chapter 10. Sitting on a metal chair, I'm in a plexiglass cage in the back of a small truck. My hands are cuffed to the chair and my ankles are secured with heavy shackles. A strap of leather pulls my forehead back against the plexiglass wall behind me. I'm facing the side of the truck, but can turn my head just enough to see Nine, also in a plexiglass cage, a few feet away from mine. In front of me, a guard is watching us. I know I could free myself in an instant, but BK, who's still hiding in my pocket, is right. We need to see what they know and how it could help us. Nine must agree because he is even more capable of breaking the binds that hold him, but he too does nothing. There are a bunch of locks on our cages, and the only way we can talk through the thick plexiglass is through the 8 tiny holes in the cage doors. The truck's engine is running, but we haven't moved an inch. Special Agent Walker is sitting on a long metal bench near the front of the truck. She has one foot on my chest, and the other on Nine's. A Mogadorian cannon lies across her lap. The man with the crooked nose is sitting next to her with the other cannon. Walker is whispering into a cell phone. Every so often, she glances over at us. I can almost hear what she's saying, catching words like boyfriend and powerless. I remember Nine saying back in the mountain that he can hear for miles. I hope he's picking up more than I am. "Hey, John!" Nine yells. The guard turns towards Nine's cage and aims a rifle at Nine's head. "You, shut up!" Nine ignores him. "Johnny, when do you want to roll on out of here? I don't know about you, but I'm bored. I could use a change of scenery." He does enjoy pissing people off. I'm beginning to understand the appeal. Special Agent Walker closes her phone and pinches the bridge of her nose with her fingers. She looks like an aggravated parent or teacher, her exhaustion wiping away a lot of her authority. Then she takes a deep breath and sits up straight, as if she's made a decision. She knocks on the window, indicating the driver should start moving. I might yawn a lot in these videos. I do apologize. I haven't been sleeping well for the last week due to my own issues because of, cray. Anyway. She stands and marches towards us, balancing herself with a cannon over her head. She comes to a stop in front of me. There's something in her eyes that wasn't there before. It's almost as if she's sorry she caught us, or she's sorry about what she has to do next, or both. "How did you find us?" I ask. "You know how," she says. I still have the bracelet around my wrist. It's been quiet for the last few minutes, but as soon as the agent speaks, it begins to buzz again. Nine shouts, "Hey, I wasn't kidding about being bored here. I don't feel like playing nice anymore. It's up to you, but you should know that you don't have long before I decide to amuse myself. You can tell us everything you know right now, or I'll kick my way out of here and make you tell me. Guess which one will make my day a little more fun." The man with the crooked nose rises slowly from the bench and aims his cannon directly at Nine. "Who do you think you are, kid? You're in no position to threaten us." "Whatever you're planning, I promise I've been through worse," Nine says. "I know exactly where you were before. Don't you get that? We know." The man sounds annoyed by Nine's bravado. "Agent Purdy," Walker says to him, "lower your weapon, now." The agent starts to lower it and I decide to have some fun. I guess Nine is rubbing off on me. Using my telekinesis, I rip the cannon out of his hands and toss it to the back of the truck. It hits the back door before landing on the floor with a clang. Just at that moment, we take a sharp corner and Agent Purdy stumbles towards me, his right shoulder slamming against my cage. I use my telekinesis to keep him pinned in place. "Son of a... Don't you know you should always wear a seatbelt, Agent Purdy?" Nine laughs. "Safety first. Here, take one of mine. You just need to come on in here to get it." Agent Purdy says, "However you're doing this, you better stop." He tries to sound scary, but it's hard to sound threatening in his position. I lean forward, easily breaking the strap across my forehead. Playtime is over. "Agent Purdy, do you know where Sam Good is?" "We have Sam," Special Agent Walker says, turning towards me. Her voice is casual, but her cannon is pointing right at me. For a second, I'm so blown away by this new piece of information my mind goes blank, and I accidentally release Agent Purdy. He crashes into the aisle. "They have Sam. Sathrakus Ra isn't torturing him in the cave, like I saw in my vision. He's okay." I'm about to ask where Sam is when I notice the light swirling in the tube of Special Agent Walker's cannon. Instead of green, these lights are black and red. She grins at the alarmed look on my face. "If you're lucky, John Smith, or whatever your name is, we'll show you a video of how we use our interrogation techniques on Sam. But if you're really, really lucky, we'll show you some footage of that little blonde girlfriend of yours. What's her name again?" "Oh, shit," Nine says. I can hear the grin in his voice as he knows what's about to go down. "Now you've gone and done it." It takes me a second to find my voice. "Sarah?" I whisper. "I know she's working with you. What did you have to tell her to turn her against me?" Agent Purdy grabs his cannon and settles back into his seat. "Are you kidding me? That girl wouldn't tell us a thing, and believe me, we asked many things in many different ways. She has nothing to say to us. She's in love." Once again, I'm stunned. I was so sure Sarah was working with the government to bring me in. When I saw her last week in Paradise, she acted so strange. She met me in the park, but then started getting mysterious text messages at 2 in the morning. Seconds later, we were surrounded by agents and being slammed to the ground. I can't think of anything else that explains it. It had to have been those text messages. They must have been from the police. How else could they have known that Sam and I were there? Damn. Now I don't know what to think. And she's still in love with me? "Where is she?" I demand. "Far, far away," Special Agent Walker says. Is she taunting me? "Who cares, dude?" Nine yells, interrupting. "Big picture, Johnny! Big picture! She's not in it! Neither is Sam!" I ignore him. Hold on one second. That might be the doctors calling me. Hello? This is she. I'm good. How are you? No, it's been taken care of, and it wasn't spiders, it was ants. They were outside in ant hills in my outside in the yard. Okay, thank you. Okay, bye. I got gypped. It wasn't the hospital. It was my Sage Pest Control. They come out and do stuff for pests or whatever. We had a couple of ant hills in the front yard that they took care of. I do apologize. I'll keep going. I ignore him. Now that I know the U.S. government has Sam and Sarah, I'm determined to find them both. I'm thinking of my next move, my next question, when I feel Bernie Kosar crawling out of my jeans pocket. "It's almost time to go," he says. "We'll take the woman to lead us to Sam and Sarah." "Nine," I say. "You ready to get out of here?" "God, yes. Been ready forever. I really have to pee." Special Agent Walker glances from me to Nine and back again. She doesn't know where to point the cannon, so she moves it back and forth between us. Agent Purdy stands again and does the same. The guard in the back of the truck points his rifle at us. "If they move, shoot anything but a vital organ," Agent Purdy says, moving to stand shoulder to shoulder with Special Agent Walker. Bernie Kosar jumps from my lap and crawls up the glass door. He flitters his tiny cockroach wings at me, and he says to count to 5. "Hey, Nine," I ask. "I'm already on 3, my man," he says. Walker shouts at us to shut up. My bracelet vibrates and sends 1,000 pinpricks up and down my wrist, but I ignore it. Nine breaks all of his restraints as if they were nothing and stands up. I do the same, though it takes more effort for me. Nine kicks the plexiglass wall at the front of the cage, and the whole thing pops easily out of its frame. As he steps out, the guard fires at him. With a smile, he just raises his hand and stops bullets in midair. He lowers his hand, and the bullets fall to the floor one at a time. He looks over at me. Need some help there, buddy? He kicks in a wall of my cage, and I step out. BK scrambles back into my pocket. Before the guard can do anything, I use my telekinesis to launch him to the ceiling and twist his weapon into a useless piece of metal. Agent Walker and Purdy both fire their mod cannons at us, but Nine stops the streams that come out of them. He smiles and shakes his finger at the two agents. No, no, no. You should know better by now. He looks over at me. Get ready, Johnny, 'cause we're going for a spin. The truck immediately flies off the road and starts rolling. Without warning, Nine grabs me and links arms, pulling me along until I gain my footing. We run up the left side of the truck, moving like a hamster in a wheel so we can stay horizontal as the truck flips over and over. Metal crunches around us, sparks rain from every corner, and the guard and the agents look like rag dolls as they're tossed in all directions. The force of the crash causes the back doors to pop open, and when the truck stops rolling, we jump out. There were a number of police vehicles trailing us, and they've all come to a screeching halt with their sirens blaring. Hey, John, Nine says, unfazed by any of it. Yeah, I say, shaking my head as I try to loose the dizzy feeling from the spinning truck. Neither of us is taking our eyes off the blinking crowd of police cars. He starts to step back towards the truck, and I do the same. We gotta get our chests back, dude, and do what BK said and get that woman, Agent. Definitely. I pat my pocket, making sure BK is still there. So why don't you take care of that while I take care of this? Nine telekinetically lifts two police cruisers off the ground, and the officers inside struggle to get out. I dash back to the truck, now smoldering in the ditch. I jump inside, avoiding the guard and Agent Purdy moaning on the floor, and find our chests. Special Agent Walker sits against what remains of the metal bench, staring at the blood on her hands in a daze. Her red hair falls loosely down her shoulders, and there's a long scrape along the side of her face. The mod cannon is now a shattered pile of parts under her legs. She watches me arrange the chests under my arms, and I drop to a knee in front of her. You're coming with us. I'm not asking. She opens her mouth to speak, and a trail of blood trickles out. It's then that I see the piece of metal sticking out of her shoulder. I put down one of the chests and try picking her up, but she groans and coughs up more blood. I let go. Afraid if I move her again, she'll bleed out and die before I can find out where Sarah and Sam are. Where are they? I ask. Tell me now. You're going to die any second, lady, and I'm trying to save Earth and my friends. Now tell me, where are Sam and Sarah? Special Agent Walker's head flops in my direction, and her green eyes open wide, as if seeing me for the first time. The gunfire outside is getting closer. You're an alien, she finally whispers. I punch the side of the truck in frustration. Yeah, I am. But I'm here to help. If you would just let me. Now before you run out of time, out of breath, tell me where they are. In Washington? Her breathing turns ragged, and it's as if she can't see or hear me. I'm losing her, and I still don't know where Sarah and Sam are. My voice sounds small all of a sudden. Just tell me where they are, please. Our eyes meet, and I can tell I've gotten through to her. Special Agent Walker's mouth opens to speak, and it takes a couple of tries to find her voice. Out west. Then her voice trails off and her eyes close. Her bloody hands clench and then relax. Her whole body goes slack. Wait! Hold on! I frantically grab at my chest, trying to get it open so I can get my healing stone. All I can think is, if I heal her, she'll tell me where they are. I've just placed my hand on the lock of the chest when a group of officers jump into the open end of the truck, guns drawn. Get away from the agent! Move! Or we'll shoot! Down on the ground! Hands behind your back! Now! They're barking orders at me, but I can't obey. I don't want to obey. I need to get the healing stone. I need to hear what she was going to say. I reach to open the chest, and I hear the officers screaming, Hands up! Hands up! I reach into my chest anyway. I hear the first gunshot, immediately followed by dozens more. As the hail of bullets fly around me, my wrist starts to tingle more strongly than ever. It doesn't hurt anymore, and the bracelet starts to expand, covering my entire arm with a sheath of red material before spreading and popping out like an umbrella. I have no idea what is going on, and I really don't care. I can only think of my healing stone and the limp body of Walker so close and yet so useless. Suddenly, I'm behind a 6-foot-high shield that curls up over my head and under my feet. The bullets bounce right off it. An orchestra of gunfire erupts and countless bullets ricochet off my shield. After a couple of minutes, they become less and less frequent, like microwave popcorn that's almost done. When the gunshots finally stop, the red material compresses itself back into the arm sheath and then shrinks into the tingling bracelet around my wrist. All of its own volition. I look down, amazed at how effective it is, how perfect its timing is. Walker is still lying unconscious by my feet. The officers with their guns trained on the back of the truck just a moment ago are gone, but I hear gunfire outside. I'm torn between looking for my healing stone to revive Walker and going outside to see if Nine needs help. I want to wake her up, force her to tell me where Sam and Sarah are, but I can't leave Nine alone if he's in trouble. I decide that Walker will keep. She's clearly not going anywhere, and I just have to hope she doesn't die on me. I take the opportunity to stuff a chest under each arm and run out. As soon as I emerge, I see the officers running in opposite directions. I don't know what Nine did while I was in there, getting to know my bracelet a little better, but they all look terrified. Nine? I call over. What exactly did you do to them? He smiles. Just used my telekinesis to lift them all about 30 feet in the air. Then I offered them a choice, go higher or run away. I applaud the wisdom of their decision, don't you? Looks like they made the right choice, I say. Hey, I thought we were bringing the agent woman with us, Nine says. She's still inside. She's unconscious, and I was going to use my healing stone on her, but I wanted to check on you first, make sure you were okay, I tell him. Dude, you were worried about me? I got this. We need her to tell us where we're going. You're the one who refuses to go anywhere that isn't towards your friends, remember? Nine picks up an assault rifle and shoots it into the air. Get in there and get her. I'll be out here playing with the soldier toys. Officers continue to retreat on foot, some hiding behind trees on the side of the road. Nine aims the gun above their heads. The rifle rocks against his shoulder and the bullets zip through the high branches. I can hear him cackling, enjoying the spectacle as I move back to the truck. I open my chest and pull out my healing stone and duck into the truck to see how badly Walker is injured. But she's not there. I look around as if she might have gotten up and moved to a different part of the truck. I'm completely confused by what I'm seeing. What I'm not seeing. There is no one there. The bodies that were there minutes ago are all gone. Shit. I'm furious with myself. I can't believe how badly I've screwed this up. Not only do we still not know where they have Sam and Sarah, but it is likely that Purdy and Walker are still out there. That was chapter 10. Moving on to chapter 11. So good. I hope you love it. Let me know. Chapter 11. Number 8 is sitting in the grass. The lake is calm and still behind him. I am known by many different names. Some call me Vishnu, while all the others call me Paramatma or Parameshwara. I am also known by my 10 avatars, 3 of whom you have met and battled, quite successfully, I might add. If they are your avatars, they are a part of you, which means you felt it necessary to declare war on these girls who were trying to reach you, Creighton spits out. You're supposed to be impersonating a peaceful god, aren't you? You have a lot of explaining to do, Marina adds. He's unmoving by our anger and remains seated. I had to be sure you are who you claim to be. I had to be sure you were ready to meet me. My apologies if your feelings or anything else were hurt. You all proved yourselves if that makes you feel any better. I'm fed up. I'm tired and hungry. Not to mention, I flew across the world and fought an army to get here. I want answers. I stand up, fist clenched at my sides. I'm going to ask a question, and if you don't answer me directly, we're leaving. This isn't a philosophical discussion, and you had no right to test us. Are you or are you not number 8? He looks up at me and purses his lips. His skin color changes from blue to a deep copper tone. When he shakes his head, the crown falls off, and his black hair grows into a shaggy mop of curls. 2 of his arms vanish, and in a matter of seconds, a shirtless teenage guy sits on the grass in front of us. Commander Sharma gasps. He's kind of thin, but toned. With his full lips and thick black eyebrows, I must say, he's kind of hot. Around his neck hangs a blue pendant. Lorian pendant. He's one of us. Ella looks over at Creighton, who exhales a long breath. He opens his mouth, about to say something, but the boy speaks first. My sea-pan originally named me Joseph, but I have gone by many names. In this region, most people know me by the name Naveen. He pauses and looks at me, then pulls up the ragged leg of his pants to reveal the scarred Loric symbols of 1, 2, and 3 on his ankle. If you want to get all Loric on me, then yes, you can call me number 8. The anger bubbling inside of me pops and disappears. We have found another member of the guard. We just got stronger. Creighton steps forward and offers his hand. We've been looking for you, 8. We've traveled a long distance. I'm Creighton, Ella's Seapan. 8 stands and shakes Creighton's hand. He's tall, and every muscle in his upper body and stomach is very well defined. He's clearly been training for years, surviving alone in the mountains. Ella stands as well. I'm Ella, she says. I'm number 10. Whoa, 8 says. He looks into her eyes. What do you mean you're number 10? There are only 9 of us. Who told you you're number 10? All of a sudden, Ella shrinks down to become a 6-year-old girl. I guess there's nothing quite like having your identity being questioned by a former stature to give you a crisis of confidence. Creighton nudges Ella, and then, just as quickly, she transforms back into her tall 11-year-old self. 8 responds by growing 5 feet taller to tower over her. That all you got, 10? Determination covers Ella's face, and it looks as if she's trying to grow another few years, but nothing happens. After a few seconds, she shrugs. I guess so. Creighton turns to 8. I'll fill you in later, but there was another ship that left Lorien after yours. Ella and I were on that ship. She was just a baby at the time. Is that it? Or is there a number 32 I should know about? 8 asks, shrinking back down to his regular height. His voice gets husky, but also kind. For the first time, I notice his eyes are the most amazing shade of deep green. By the look on Marina's face, she's noticing all of this, too. I can't help but smile as she nervously tucks her hair behind her ears. Ella's the last, Creighton answers. This is 6, and this is Marina, number 7. You appear to be able to shapeshift. Anything else we should know about? Creighton asks. Indeed, I do have that legacy, 8 says, among other things. Oh yeah? Like what? Marina asks. 8 turns and skips along the surface of the pool as if it were solid ice. When he circles back to us, he begins to sprint before skidding to a stop, sending a wave of water towards Marina. But Marina is not going to get shown up by the new guy. Without flinching, she lifts her hands and stops the water midair, then pushes it back at 8 with her telekinesis. He in turn blows the wave high into the air like a geyser. Not to be left out of whatever game it is they're playing, I take control of the wind, and I use it to push the geyser across the pool until a wall of moving water surrounds 8 on 3 sides. What else you got? I shout, my voice daring him to keep things going. 8 disappears from where I've trapped him behind the water, and in an instant later reappears on the jagged rocks above the pool. He disappears again and shows up inches from my nose. 8's sudden closeness is so jarring I reflexively throw a fist into his ribs. He grunts and stumbles backwards. 6! What are you doing? Marina yells. Sorry, I say. It was a reflex. I deserved it, says 8, shrugging off Marina's protectiveness. So, you can teleport? Marina asks. That is very cool. He suddenly appears at her side and casually leans an arm on her shoulder. I'm a fan of it. Marina giggles and shrugs him off. Giggles? Is she kidding me? 8 smiles, disappears, and shows up again standing on Creighton's shoulder, balancing with exaggerated arm circles and wobbly legs. Sometimes I pick stupid places to land, though. 8 is our jester, all of a sudden. I'm struck by his playfulness, unsure if it's going to be an attribute or a liability. I decide to view it as a positive. I can just see the annoyance and confusion on the Mogadorians' faces moments before this kid turns them to ash. Creighton leans forward and, as if they'd rehearsed the routine in advance, 8 does a flip onto the ground, then claps his hands, obviously pleased with himself. Where's your sea-pan? Marina asks. 8's cheerful face turns serious. We all know what this means. Instantly, my mind goes to an image of Katerina gagged and chained to a wall. I think of John and his sea-pan Henry. I shake away the memories before tears form in my eyes. How long ago? Creighton gently asks the question we are all thinking. 8 spins to look out over the field of high grass beyond us. With his mind, he parts the grass left and right until there's a narrow path. He raises his head at the setting sun. Listen, we have to get out of here. The light is going. I'll tell you all about Reynolds and Lola on the way. Commander Sharma runs up to 8 and grabs his wrist. What about me? What can I do for you? Please tell me. He startles me. I've been so wrapped up in our little session of getting to know you, and he's been so quiet, I completely forgot his role in all this. Commander, 8 says, you have been a loyal friend to me, and I want to thank you and your soldiers for all your hard work. Vishnu would be very happy with your devotion. I'm afraid now we must part ways. It's clear by the expression on the commander's face that he thought he was in this for the long haul. But I don't understand. I have done everything you have asked of me. I brought you your friends. My men have died for you. 8 looks Commander Sharma in the eyes. I never wished for anyone to die for me. That's why I refused to leave the mountain and walk with you in the streets. I'm sorry lives were lost. More sorry than you will ever know. Believe me. I know what it feels like to lose people. But this is where we must go our separate ways. He's firm, but I can see it's hard for him to do this. But 8 cuts him off. Goodbye, Commander. The man turns, a look of despair on his face. Poor guy. But he's a soldier who knows when to take an order, when to accept how things are going to be. You're leaving me? No, 8 says. You are leaving me. You are off to something bigger and better. A wise man once told me that only by leaving someone good can you meet someone better. You will be with your Vishnu, and you will only know him once I am gone. It's hard to watch. Commander Sharma opens his mouth to say something but closes it when 8 turns and walks down the path without looking back. At first, I think 8 is being too harsh. Then I realize this is the kindest way he can do what must be done. Hey, wait! Creighton calls after 8. The base of the mountain is the other way. We have to get to the airport. First, I need to show you all something, he calls back, and we may not need an airport. Where are you going? There are things you don't know yet. We need to sit down and talk. We need to make a plan, says Creighton. I wish I hadn't broken those glasses, Ella says. We can't just follow him without knowing where he's taking us or if it's a good idea. He thinks he knows everything, but he may not. We watch Creighton think about what to do. I know what I think we should do. We finally found another member of the guard, and we have to stick together now. I nod towards 8's quickly disappearing figure. Creighton looks at me, then nods back. He scoops up Marina's chest and begins to walk after 8. Without saying anything, Marina and Ella hold hands and start to follow him. I get in line behind them. I use my advanced hearing to listen for sounds of the commander moving from the spot where we left him. I hear nothing. I can picture him standing there, still and silent long after we've left. I understand why it had to be done, but I still feel sorry for the guy. Left behind after all his loyalty, I look at 8's back, ramrod straight ahead of me, and I feel bad for both of them. 8 leads on. We follow him down a hill and find ourselves in a wide open valley. Everywhere I look, there are snow-tipped Himalayan mountains. Closer by, there are patches of forest with fields of yellow and purple flowers in between. It's beautiful. We're all soaking it in as we walk when Creighton breaks the silence. So, who were Reynolds and Lola? 8 slows so we can walk together. He reaches down to pick a handful of purple flowers only to crush them in his hand. Reynolds was my sea-pan. He laughed a lot. He was always laughing. He laughed when we were on the run and when we slept under a bridge or hid in someone's leaky barn in a monsoon. He turns to look at us each in turn. Does anyone remember him? We all shake our heads, even Creighton. I wish I could, but I was only 2 years old when we made the journey. 8 continues. He was a great lork and an even better friend. But Lola? Lola was a human he fell in love with when we first got here. That was 8 years ago. They met at the market, and from that moment on, they were inseparable. Reynolds was so in love. Lola moved in with us very quickly. She barely left our house. 8 kicks a patch of flowers. I should have known she couldn't be trusted by the way she looked at me, how she always wanted to know where I was, what I was doing. I wouldn't let her near my chest, no matter how many ways she tried. But Reynolds trusted her so much, he eventually told her who we were. He told her everything. Not smart, I say. John told Sarah, and look at where that got them. Trusting humans with our secret is too risky. Love only makes it more risky. I can't even describe how angry I was. When I realized what he had done, I lost it. He and I fought for days. We had never argued before. I trusted him completely, and it wasn't that I suddenly didn't trust him. It was her. That was when Lola started pushing us to come into the mountains with her to hike and camp. She said she knew the perfect place. She convinced Reynolds it would help him make peace with me, for us to bond. I thought Lola's plan to get Reynolds and me to kiss and make up was unlikely, but I went anyway. He stops walking long enough to point at a mountain peak due north. We went to that mountain right there. I brought along my chest. By that point, I could teleport and I had telekinesis, plus my strength was off the charts, and I needed to train and figured the mountain air would help me get stronger, faster. But as soon as we arrived, Lola kept trying to separate us. She did everything to get Reynolds to leave me alone. In the end, she had to make do with Plan B. He turns away and resumes walking. We give him a few steps to pull himself together. What was Plan B? Marina asks gently, trying to move him along. On the third night in the mountains, she left to gather firewood, leaving me and Reynolds alone for the first time the whole trip. I knew something was wrong. I felt it in the pit of my stomach. Lola returned quickly with a dozen Mogadorian warriors. Reynolds, he was so in love with her, he was heartbroken before he remembered to be scared. He screamed at her, begging her to explain why she would do this to him, to us, to me. Then one of the warriors threw a bag of gold coins in Lola's general direction. She was promised a lot of money by the Mogadorians to provide a service. 8 sneers the word. Like a dog jumping on a treat, she dove at it. It all happened so fast. She dove, one of the Mogadorians raised a glowing sword and stabbed her in the back, and the bag of coins exploded at her feet. Reynolds and I just stood there, frozen, watching her die. I resist the urge to dash ahead, grab his hand and squeeze it to show how much I understand how he feels. I look at his straight, proud back, watch the purpose in his long strides, and know what he needs right now is his space. At least, that's what I want when I think about Katerina dying. His last word, die, hangs in the air. Finally, Creighton clears his throat and says, "We don't need to hear any more right now. You can stop if you want." They couldn't kill me. 8's voice gets louder, as if he's trying to drown out the sad memories. I know the trick. It rarely works. Even when they managed a direct hit with one of their swords across my neck or into my stomach, I didn't die. But they did. The deadly cuts meant for me happened to them instead. They couldn't kill me because of the charm, and I did everything I could to protect Reynolds. But we were separated in all the chaos, and I teleported too late. Reynolds was... He pauses for a second. One of them took my chest. I tried to stop him. I grabbed... Oh, that is actually the doctor. Sorry, give me a second. Hello? This is she. Yes. 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 Yeah. Yeah, I'll be there at 3:30 to 4:30 at an appointment. Okay, I'll come early. Alrighty. Thank you. Alright, bye. Okay, sorry for all the interruptions. That was them. They're gonna try to get me the medication that I need. That's why I've been dealing so poorly with what's going on, because Haven't been on the right medication and blah, 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 blah. I know, same old story. Let's get back to the real story. Crap, I gotta find my place. There we go. One of them took my chest. I tried to stop him. I grabbed one of their swords and I tried to stab him through his stomach, but I missed by this much. Pretty sure I took off his hand, though. Anyway, he got away. Right after he ran into the woods, I saw a tiny silver ship shoot up through the trees. I killed the others. His voice is so cold, so emotionless, I shiver. I lost my C-pan too, Marina says quietly after a moment. Me too, I add. I glance over at Ella, who has moved closer to Creighton. At least she still has him. Hopefully we won't lose the last C-pan that any of us knows. The sky above us grows darker by the second. Marina volunteers to walk in front so that she can lead the way with her legacy of night vision. I smile when she takes 8's hand, happy that someone tries to comfort him. I've spent so much time in these mountains, 8 says. All alone? Ella asks. I was alone for some of it. I didn't know where to go. And then one day I came across an old man. He was sitting under a tree with his eyes closed, praying. My legacy to become other shapes had arrived months earlier, and I approached him in the form of a small black rabbit. He felt my approach. He laughed before he even opened his eyes. There was something about his face that I trusted. I guess he reminded me of Reynolds, before Lola came into our lives. So I hopped into the bushes and teleported behind a line of trees in the opposite direction. When I approached him again in my regular form, he offered me some lettuce. It was clear that he knew me, would always know me, no matter what form I took. We're coming to another lake, Marina says, interrupting 8. Now that the talking has stopped, I can hear the lapping of water in a quiet waterfall beyond. Yes, we're close, 8 confirms. We'll eat and sleep soon. So then what happened with the old man? Creighton asks. His name was Devdin, and he was a very enlightened spiritual person. He told me all about Hinduism and Vishnu. I clung to his stories. In my mind, they represented how we're trying to save Lorien. He taught me ancient forms of Indian martial arts like, this is a word, Kalaripayattu, Silambam, and Gatka. I worked with my legacies, my powers, to see how far I could take what I learned from him. One day, I went to meet him in our usual spot, and he wasn't there. I went back day after day, but he never returned, and I was alone again. It was many months later when I stumbled upon Commander Sharma and his army during a training exercise. He hesitates before continuing. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not sure yet. It was while I was in the shape of Vishnu, and they vowed to protect me from any evils. I knew it was because I was in a form they worshipped, and I hated preying on their beliefs, but I couldn't resist. I guess I hated being alone even more. Marina starts to lead us around the lake. 8 tells her to head for the waterfall we can hear in the distance. Did the Mogs ever come back? Creighton asks. Yes. They still return in the tiny silver ships every so often, buzzing around the mountains to see if I'm still here. But I just turn into a fly or an ant and they keep going. Creighton says. That lines up with all the reports of UFO sightings in this region. Yes, that's them, 8 says. With every visit, they become more careless about detection. I haven't seen one in a few days, but they've been much more frequent in the last 6 or 8 months. I took this to mean the conflict was escalating. It is, I say. We've been finding each other, joining up. Marina, Ella, and I just met up in Spain a few days ago. Number 4 is waiting for us back in America, and now we've found you. That just leaves 5 and 9. 8 is silent for a moment. I want to thank you for traveling all this way for me. It's been so long since I've had anyone to talk about my real life. The waterfall is now just feet away. Now what? Now what? I have to yell to be heard over the noise of the water. We climb, 8 yells back, motioning to a sheer stone wall in front of us. I place my hand on the stone's smooth surface and tap my foot around to find a toe hold. My foot immediately slips, and when I'm about to try it again, I hear 8's voice far away, above me. He's already at the top, yelling something down at us. Teleportation is even better. than I thought. It may be even better than invisibility. I wonder if we combine them somehow. Just use your telekinesis to float your way up, Marina says to me. You get Ella, I'll get Creighton. I follow her advice and we float up. It's actually much easier than I imagined. Up at the top is 8's campsite. Soon we're sitting around a fire cooking a vegetable stew in a large pot. The trees overhead form a thick canopy, and with the water below, it's a perfect spot to hide. 8's mud hut is somehow both depressing and ideal at the same time. The walls are uneven, and the door is a lopsided oval, but it's all so warm and dry, and it smells of fresh flowers. Inside is a homemade hammock and a small table and 3 colorful rugs hanging from the walls. Nice place you've got here, I say, walking back to the fire. I've been on the run so long, I forget what it's like to have a home, even a hut. There is something about this place. There will always be a piece of me that remains here. I'm really going to miss it, he says, looking around fondly. So, does that mean you'll come with us? Marina asks. Of course I will. The time has come for us to be together, to work together. Now that Citracus Ra is here, I have to go with you. He's here? Creighton asks, suddenly uneasy. 8 takes his first bite of stew. He arrived a few days ago. He's been visiting me in my dreams. Okay, that was it for chapter 11. We'll pick back up in the next video in chapter 12. Like, that's a way to end. Like, he's been visiting me in my dreams. Like, what? Okay then. Well, I hope you're liking it. Let me know in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to get more videos. And hit the thumbs up. That's it for now. Reading by Ree. Bye!